Hey, before we dive in, don't forget to hit subscribe so you don't miss stories like this. The first time I realized something was off, I laughed it off, not at him, exactly, but at the little things that now feel like warnings I ignored. Marcus, my husband of 6 years, had always been calm, almost painfully patient. But lately he seemed distant, not angry or sad, just quieter, like he was carrying a weight he wouldn't let me see. We were in the kitchen that night. The smell of roasted garlic filled the room, a pan sizzling softly on the stove. I leaned against the counter, scrolling through my phone, trying to catch his attention with jokes that usually made him laugh. He smiled, but it didn't reach his eyes. "Marcus, are you even listening?" I teased, nudging him playfully. "I am," he said, voice low. "Just thinking." I smirked. "Thinking about what?" "How boring your day was." He shrugged. That was when I laughed, the sharp kind that cuts. "You're too serious, you know that? One day, it's going to be the death of you." He chuckled softly, almost hollowly, and walked toward the living room. That should have been my first warning. The way he moved, deliberate and slow, like he was calculating how much longer to stay in a world he no longer wanted to share with me. The next morning, I found a small, neatly folded note on the kitchen table. My name was scribbled at the top in his handwriting, but the words made my chest tighten. "We need to talk. I can't keep pretending anymore." I stare at it, rolling my eyes, feeling irritation before concern. Pretending about what? I muttered under my breath. Later, I tried calling him. No answer. Text went unread. Even his coffee cup sat in the sink, untouched, as if it had evaporated from our life entirely. I laughed again, though this time it was nervous. He's just messing with me, I told myself. Marcus doesn't ghost me like this. But deep down, a small, icy voice whispered the truth. Something had already shifted. Something I couldn't undo. And then my phone buzzed. A message from an unknown number. 3 words. Enough to stop my heart. "He's gone." The words from that unknown number burned on my screen, leaving a hollow pit in my chest. I stared at them, willing my brain to rewrite reality. He's gone? Gone where? My fingers trembled as I dialed Marcus's number again. No answer. Not even voicemail. I remember the rush of panic as I ran through the apartment, checking every room. The living room couch still held the indentation of where he had been sitting. His laptop lay open, but his password-protected documents mocked me, a barrier to the private world he had clearly been retreating into. Then I noticed a small envelope tucked under the sofa cushion. It wasn't addressed to me. The handwriting was neat, careful, the kind that only someone obsessively thoughtful could produce. I hesitated, hand shaking, but curiosity clawed at me. Inside, a series of printed messages, text between him and someone named Elena. My name wasn't mentioned, not once, but the tone intimate. Laughing emojis, midnight confessions, photos that shouldn't exist. I felt nausea rise in my throat. My first instinct was denial. No, this can't be real. He wouldn't. But the words were undeniable. Every smile, every "I miss you" text, every secret plan, they weren't meant for me. I ran to the bedroom, flipping through his drawers, searching for more. And then I saw it, a small velvet box, usually reserved for anniversaries or birthdays. Empty. I swallowed hard, heart racing. He hadn't just been distant. He'd been planning an exit, leaving me behind with my mocking words still echoing in the air. The betrayal wasn't just about her. It was about the silence, the hidden life, the patience I had taken for granted. I remembered the night before, my laughter cutting through his careful calm. Too serious, too boring, too predictable. I had mocked him one last time, not knowing it would be the last thread holding him here. I sank onto the floor, phone buzzing again. Another message, this one from Marcus, but not sent to me, forwarded by someone else. "I can't stay. I love her. I hope one day you understand." The words hit like glass. My knees went weak. I had imagined arguments, apologies, tears, never this cold, unreturnable finality. And then the reality settled over me like a storm. I had driven him away with my words, my careless mockery, my inability to see the distance growing between us. I knew I had to face the truth. But the next message waiting in my inbox promised a confrontation I wasn't ready for. You deserve to know everything. Meet me at the pier tonight. The pier was silent, save for the gentle slap of water against the wooden posts and the distant hum of city lights. I arrived early, heart pounding so violently it felt like it might escape my chest. The night air smelled of salt and gasoline from the boats docked nearby. Every step I took felt heavier than the last, dragging me closer to a truth I wasn't sure I could bear. Marcus was already there, leaning against a railing, hands shoved deep into his coat pockets. His face was pale, eyes shadowed with exhaustion and regret. I stopped a few feet away, unsure if I wanted to run or scream, but unable to turn back. Why? The word escaped my lips like a broken whisper. He turned slowly, the familiar warmth in his gaze replaced with something I hadn't seen before. Distance, sorrow, finality. I tried to tell you, he said, voice low, almost defeated. I didn't want to hurt you, but I couldn't stay. Every day felt like I was drowning in a life that wasn't mine anymore. I took a shaky step forward. And her? Elena? You left me for her? He flinched, as if my words were sharp enough to cut through him. I never wanted it to be like this. I didn't plan to leave while things were still salvageable. But when you mocked me, that night something inside me broke. I realized I'd been living for you, not with you. I felt the sting of tears. My mind replayed that careless laughter, my words, the way I had pushed him away without even noticing. I didn't know. He shook his head. You mocked me, GM. You laughed at my feelings. And maybe that's my fault, too, expecting you to see me when I couldn't even see myself. The weight of betrayal, the depth of heartbreak, the finality of loss, it all collided inside me. I wanted to scream, to beg, to pull him back. But he was already turned away, the coat swaying as he disappeared into the shadows, leaving only a cold gust of wind and the faint sound of water against wood. I sank to my knees on the pier, silent except for the echo of my own regret. The laughter I had thrown at him felt like a knife twisting in my chest. For the first time, I understood the cost of careless words, the fragility of trust, and the cruel reality that some mistakes can't be undone. I stood, looking out at the dark water, letting the tears fall freely. The lesson was searing, brutal, unforgettable. Love isn't about patience for what's easy. It's about courage for what's difficult. If this story touched you or made you feel a fraction of the pain I felt, please share your thoughts in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe for more real, human stories like this.